What's going on, everybody? Happy damn Tuesday. It is certainly a Tuesday here at Famine Studios. I am ready to rock with you. We're going to be messing with some trash. Let me ask you, is this shirt ostentatious and loud enough? Does it have your attention? Does it upset your eyes as much as it does mine? What about this shirt right here? This little sexy guy? Yeah, that's available over on Teespring. Be sure to go check it out. Famine Studios over there. Pick one up for yourselves. So how's everybody doing? How's everyone doing? It's been a Tuesday. That's a damn thing. It was busy at work today. We were supposed to get a big snowstorm. Didn't happen. It's very weird. But I'm here today. We are sponsored again by the cherry pomegranate seltzers. So that's what we're having. And let's take a look. See who's in the chat tonight. All right, we've got. Oh, goodness! I dropped the Patreon link in the chat. Oh, I guess we'll have to talk about that in a bit. Bjorn, no, that's on OnlyFamins. OnlyFamins has the feet pics, or directly. XPS, like foam insulation board. Anthony, what's happening? Also, hi, Justin. Didn't mean to skip over that. If that's your Mando kit, by the way, if that's your Mando kit there in your profile picture, it's a badass kit. I'd love to see some larger pictures if you have that over on Instagram. And if I already saw it, I apologize. It's very small. It looks badass. I could be wrong. The shirt is flashy, right? It doesn't work well with this, but also it does catch your eye. So it's like, damn, I have the the gumption to wear something like this in front of people. It's upsetting. 375, what's happening, my man? Welcome. Glad you're here. And Tuna on Rye, bonjour. How are you? Glad to see that you made it out today. Excuse me. I had pizza for dinner. I wasn't going to get pizza. It was we had a choice of a new dinner place, and pizza, you roll the dice. It's going to be a pretty good pizza. The best pizza in the area. I haven't had pizza this good since I've been in New York City. Completely caught me off guard. Sincerely. Place is called R, the letter R, Family Pizza. R Family Pizza. It's in Selkirk, New York. Phenomenal. Let's see who else is here. Let's see. We got Task Force Figures in the house. Task Force Figure Games. Hello. Welcome. If you guys just walked in the door, be sure to slap the like button. Just give it a little double tap. Make sure to click. Give that a like. If you're not subscribed, be sure to subscribe. Hello. How are you tonight? Glad that you're here as well. Got the whole house tuned in. Hello, Mama Rosie. Would you like to say hello? We have a guest. Come here. Oh, hello, Mama Rosie. Hello. Mama Rosie wants to say hi. She wants some of the limelight, but she mainly wants some of the kisses. Huh. I love you. Say hello to the friends. Yeah. You're just a piglet. All right. I'm gonna let you down. Go play with your sons. Oh, good girl. So, thank you for slapping the like button. We always appreciate that. Mama Rosie loves her fans. She blows kisses and gives smacks with her sticks to try and get you to pay attention to pet her. So, but today we're going to be talking about a whole bunch of stuff. We're going to be talking about trash. We're going to be talking about garbage. We're going to be talking about what not to do when you're getting stuff from the garbage to use. And we're also going to use some stuff to make some stuff. You'll notice there's a new display behind me. It's not what we're used to, right? You guys are used to the sci-fi ship interior. That's actually just going to get moved for different videos. It's still going to be used for filming. Probably just going to be used for introductions and other things like that. And I want more of the sci-fi world of Gimmick is going to be behind me. So I had a rack that I built. Hello, Mr. Stark. I had a rack that I built about 10 years ago with my best friend, because I have a copious physical DVD collection. Hello, Stark. Ready? Up you go. Okay. Stark would like to say hello, too. He felt a little jealous that his mama was getting attention. Say hi. Yeah, you're a good boy. So I had a very large DVD collection. Physical media is still king in this household, and I absolutely love my physical DVDs. Now, I've since moved my physical DVDs to a different room, so I didn't need this shelf. So I had taken it out, put it in the garage. I was going to put it up and like use it to store boxes of mail. Guys aren't already, please go follow Jason Jensen after my video. Don't run away just yet. Go follow Jason Jensen here on YouTube and Instagram. Great creator. Jason Jensen trains. He does model trains, and he also does sci-fi world building just like us. He does a fantastic way of building these things, these dioramas. He's got a great sci-fi store and also a model railroad store. So let's see. So the audio crapped out. Everybody. Can I put you down? I can put you down, buddy. Audio still not working? Working? Maybe? Yes. Can you guys hear me? Thumbs up in the chat if you can hear me. I'm back. Okay. So as I was saying, be sure to check out Jason Jensen Trains here on YouTube and Instagram. Also, you can go to his store, jasonjensentrains.com, and he has a sci-fi store where you can get all kinds of world building stuff. You guys have seen some of those things in my dioramas, in my reviews, and yeah, check it out. But he inspired me. He's got, you know, his built around corners and angles and stuff. So I'm going to be doing some woodworking, very basic, bare bones woodworking. I am by no means, hey, how's it going? Call me. Audio sounded like picking up separate conversation. Who else has been talking? Are they in the walls? They might be. Eggplants in the chat, boys. Or girls. But, and my friends in between. But yeah, so go check out his sci-fi stuff. He's, again, his layout is around corners and things, and I'm going to be doing some very rudimentary woodworking, just basic, you know, chop saw, Craig jig, quick square, pencil, maybe a little sandpaper. We're not going to get crazy. Maybe I'll break out the jigsaw. But that's a little bit later down the line. Those will be pre-made videos because I'm not going to be making, hey, take it out if you got it. That's my kind of party. I will not shame you for that. Cheers. So when I do the woodworking stuff, it's going to be very much how Famine does and not strictly a how-to. My specialty is making the stuff to go on it. I was very blessed. I lived with my grandparents since I was the age of 13. Moved out for a few years. My grandpa passed away. I moved back home. I inherited a copious amount of tools. I have a full contractor's wood workshop out in my garage. Currently, there's some stuff that's preventing me from getting to that, but I also have my own tools, my own chop saw and things like that I have set aside that I'll be able to use once this weather breaks a little bit. Very fortunate to have been trained how to properly handle tools. I've been very, fortunate to know what I'm doing. But in the world of YouTube experts, in the world of everybody knows how to do it better than the next guy, I will just preface that and say when I do my woodworking videos, when I do anything with the power tools or anything like that, this is how I do it. It's not the way to do it. Wear your safety glasses, wear your gloves when you're supposed to, and when you're not, don't wear your gloves. That's all we're going to cover. Let's see. Tool ecosystem. So I am, I'm not one of the four houses, right? I have some DeWalt. I have some Black & Decker. Most of my stuff is Black & Decker, but I do have DeWalt. I lucked out. You have to sign up to the OnlyFans or DM me for that. But I lucked out and actually found a free DeWalt impact driver in the snow. It must have been on top of a work truck, fell into the snowbank. I walked over and picked it up because I saw yellow sticking out of the snow, and we're going to get to this because I've been picking up trash and like interesting looking things out of recycling to use in world building. And I was like, man, let me go see what that is. And it was a freaking DeWalt impact driver. No construction vehicles in sight or anything. So I just presumed it was sitting on top of a vehicle. When they took off and went sailing, I picked it up and now I've got that. Yeah, free is my favorite flavor. We're just gonna get into it. We're gonna get into it as you guys come in. I will certainly welcome you in. There are so many of you. I'm very excited for tonight's show. Famine After Dark. Hey, it could, but we're gonna jump right into it. So free, as my friend used to say, is my favorite flavor. My friend Jim Squires, he's the one that did my Mandalorian tattoo. The very first artist who ever took me under his wing, brought me to his art studio, let me hang with him, let me work with the other artists, and told me like, hey, you're one of us now. Jim Squires, he told me free is my favorite flavor, right? So I love getting free stuff. I used to work for an aerospace plant, and we used to get all sorts of stuff in crates and things like that, and they'd come with giant sheets of plywood on it, and you know, it's not very recyclable conscious, so they just hurl them in the dumpster. So I used to, you know, build various projects, and I went up to my boss and I said, hey, can I you know, he goes, you know, what do you want? And I said, can I go out there to that wood dumpster and take a few things? And he's like, yeah, just don't hurt yourself. And like, all right. So I would go out and just grab something from the dumpster. Every time I wanted something from the dumpster, hey boss, can I go? Yep, go ahead. So I wound up coming home with, you know, fans, utility lamps. I've got work lamps down in my workshop that they just needed a new plug, and it was cheaper to replace or to buy a new lamp than replace the plug apparently. So they would just throw things out and I'd snag them. Well, I also wound up with a copious amount of number one, wood, which we used up on my buddy's camp, and number two, a lot of foam insulation. XPS foam insulation. You guys see it in the thumbnails. It's either the pink or the green/blue boards. This stuff right here, you know, it comes in 2, 3 inches, 1/4 inch, 4 inches. This stuff is a lot of diorama makers' lifeblood. This is the food that, you know, this is the food and drink of some of these guys. When they build their dioramas and they sell them off, a lot of it's made from this. Used to get all kinds of neat stuff from that job. I don't work there anymore. I don't ever plan on getting back into that field. So it was a great resource when I had it, and I still have a lot of the insulation, which I'm going to be putting to good use here. So there is that. Hey, Red, I want to say hello. I did see you come in. And yep, it is called fashion. It's very much an eyesore, but it really makes this stand. I think that it makes this, you know, Rusty Jackalope's Provision Company shirt stand out. You guys should check this out on Teespring. Go pick one up today. I'm just saying. So we're going to be using this today, but I wanted to give you guys like a cautionary tale, a warning. Now, in the thumbnail, you guys can see a chunk of wood. And, you know, watch out for this. When you go dumpster diving for anything, get yourself some good protective gloves. Hand protection, you know, they don't have to be leather gloves. They don't have to be, you know, super expensive. Leather is probably arguably the best. Ripstop, you want something on your hands because your hands are the first thing that go into a dumpster. You don't know what's in there, even if it's, say, a wood dumpster. My goodness, Snowflake, God bless you. Bless you. Oh my goodness, Snowflake just sneezed up a plenty. And that's the key right there. You're putting your hands, you've only got 2 of them. It's not like, you know, fucking beard hairs. There's extra of those. You've got 2 hands, 2 eyes, protect them. But if you're going into a dumpster or even just reaching in to pull something out, put some type of protection on your hands. I wasn't thinking when I was downstairs. I went to grab some chunks of wood to bring up here, and I actually set the piece of wood aside and out of the way so I didn't make that mistake again. There was some slivers, and I got jabbed up pretty good because I was careless, just shot my hands out and grabbed it, and it brought me to a great point. I was like, God damn it. And I was like, well, let's take something good away from this. Lesson learned again. And, you know, like it said here, tetanus is a horror. You do not want tetanus. You should get your tetanus shots. You don't want to have to get one mandatorily, especially after you've injured yourself, which happened to me years ago. Excuse me. And yeah, I wouldn't want to go through that again. So protect your hands, right? Next, if you're going out at night, check the laws in your area. I know. For the YouTube advisors who review these videos, once this video is monetized and up, this is strictly for educational purposes that I am sharing this with people. if you do go dumpster diving, consult your local area to find out what the laws are. In a lot of places, if the dumpster is unlocked and in a public area after business hours, you can access it. In other areas, it's quite different, so look it up in your local areas and municipalities. That said, if you were to hypothetically go to a dumpster at night, gloves and a flashlight so that you can see what you're doing. But again, you want those gloves because you're going to be reaching in. Look for things that are cool, that have interesting textures. I saved this foam. I can't even remember what it was from. And this is see how white it is? Polystyrene foam. This is the stuff that you don't want to get spray paint or any propellants on because it turns into basically a gel, and then that gel is very flammable, and you could use it to reenact, famous scenes from movies and real history. And that's as far as I'll go with that. But it's got a cool texture. It's got these little channels in it. So I figured I could utilize that for something, or maybe make it curve around something. I don't know, but I just thought this was super neat. So I saved it. And I had a stack of this foam in my basement. And again, these were all pieces of foam that were rescued out of dumpster that was bound to be polystyrene. Okay, polystyrene. And it was bound to be thrown away. It's going to be recycled. I don't know how recycled that is, but a lot of times some of this plastic gets reconstituted, gets, used in other projects. So save it. When I got it home at the time, when I brought those sheets home, I wiped off the dust and stacked it up. Since it was in my basement, I did give everything a wipe down, and I used a 50% isopropyl alcohol wipe just to wipe anything off, because it is in my basement. There could be mold. It's a basement. It's a damp basement. Wanted to, I tease. It's atrocious. These colors do not go together. These two colors hurt your eyeballs, but you certainly looked. And I'm just saying, shirts available. They have sales over on Teespring all the time. I get a little cut, but it's designed by the amazing Grime City. My concept, he put the pen to paper, made it a little bit better. And when I say pen to paper, I mean he digitized what I put pen to paper, because my pen to paper, you wouldn't want that scan on a shirt. No, sir. No, ma'am. No in between. Nothing. Thank you. So you want to be safe when you obtain these things. You also want to know what you're grabbing. If you're grabbing electronics, be aware, get a little bit familiar with electronics. If you think you're going to be taking it apart, if it's got one of the old CRT screens, you want to be careful. There's gases in there you certainly don't want to breathe in. You don't want broken glass. Just be careful. Again, wear gloves and just be careful. Fix my volume. You can't hear on my shirts. Womp, womp, womp. Boo. Everybody boo this man. Boo this man. I have to lean into it because it causes such an optical illusion. My eyes, I'm not sure where I am on camera. Woo! Oh, hey, Bjorn. All right, real quick. Thank you so much, Bjorn. Bjorn is my first patron. So thank you, Bjorn. Thank you very much. We are going to talk about Patreon in a little bit. I do want to get there. I don't want to bombard with that. That's for you, Anthony. That's for you. That's what you get. You get a boo. But yes, Bjorn, thank you tremendously. Thank you so much. That's incredible. I appreciate it. You show so much support to this community. You show so much love to the people in this community, the people on Instagram, in the chats. It's just tremendous that you're such a fixture. You're always kind. You never have a bad word to say about anybody, and no one's ever got a bad thing to say about you. And if they do, they can come see Old Fam, and I'll take care of it. So thank you very much. Everybody, cheer Bjorn, boo Anthony. Let's keep going with the garbage. Today, another piece that I grabbed, which isn't clear on the picture because I put Danny DeVito over top of it because I'm the trash man. It was from a knockoff wannabe Jurassic Park thing from Walmart that I got from a I'll sign the shirt and mail it to you, Bjorn. Not the jackalope shirt, but this ostentatious fucking eyesore of a shirt. But this was from a knockoff Jurassic Park thing. We have this dumpster here. It's like a drop off your orphan child or your clothes you don't want. And people always drop off other stuff. Oh, wow. Hey, thank you. Thank you both. That is tremendous. It is truly, truly appreciated. I am so thankful. 375, so appreciative. You are also very supportive of the community, and I'm glad to have you on as a patron. I hope I, keep making content that you guys want to see. You guys will get early looks at things. We'll get into that stuff. You guys probably already know because you read the thing, but we'll get there. So anyway, people, you can drop off your orphan baby, or you can drop off your, clothes, and people drop off shit that just like doesn't go in this clothes dumpster, and so they'll either put it next to it or put it in a pile next to it, or try and jam it in the clothes thing. Well, when they go and collect the clothes, they take everything that's not clothes and they dump the stuff out. Well, I found this I found this Jurassic Park knockoff thing, and I was like, all right, maybe I'll use it to add to my Jurassic Park display. But the more I look at it, like, there's just really cartoony pieces. So I did do a little bit of work on this earlier today. I was bored on my lunch break, which actually this was yesterday's lunch break, the result of bringing that in the house, cleaning it, and reattaching it to the wall. It used to be over there. Excuse me. I took off, there was like some bent bars, except they were like perfectly formed to be bent, so there wasn't an excess of material. Again, kid's toy. And I took off, there was like a faux light on here. So what I'm thinking is I'll maybe add another stick here and here to make it match the height of this, and then I'll continue that railing around to this corner, and then we'll run another railing across the top of here. And it's about yay deep, so this would be the part that touches the wall. And while you could fit characters to that, I think I want to make it go out a little bit more, so it's like almost like a first off, that's messed up. Woo. And I think you're absolutely right, Bjorn. The sticker was like Dino Hunter or something. It had a Tyrannosaurus Rex silhouette on it and a caution thing here that I just didn't love. So I figure we'll turn this into like some sort of like little miniature outpost, just a viewing outpost. And yeah, we're going to use some of that foam to make a base for it. And we'll use some of the foam to potentially extend this out here. And I think we're going to make some foam rocks to cover the front and make it look like it's just carved out of a piece of the outcropping, because a little bit of the lore that I'm developing is this is all gimmick. However, this space that we occupy here is the fourth wall. The space that we occupy is where ships fly in. So this is into a cliff face that is sheer. It was broken off after some catastrophic thing happened, whether it was natural or, caused by people, spaceships, whatever. And there are paths carved up and down the mountain that go, and there's doors on either end of these paths that allow them to go inside to other little businesses and things that we can't see. But in the meantime, the exterior is used for paths. People can get picked up with their ships there. They can watch ships come and go. It's great for commerce, great for us to be able to see it, and it allows me to add some lore. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to get my notepad out. I'm going to pull you guys down so you can see, and I'll show you my idea of what I want to make. Oh God, those emojis are killing me right now. All right. Let's go. So, bring you guys down here. The pencil that I use is a lead pencil that was my grandfather's. He always did the Dale Carnegie classes to work on his public speaking and everything. And this was his most improved first prize pencil. So I've kept it, and I like to use it when I do little pencil sketches before I go over them with ink or whatever. I always keep a notebook in my workstation here, or in my desk. I have one in my car. I have one in my workshop downstairs. I would like to write notes, and in here I was like talking about thank you, Justin. Yeah, everybody go check that out. I'm going to go check that out after the show. I I'm working on a kit as well, Justin. I may pick your brain about yours. In fact, I more than likely certainly will. And Egyptians would love our use of emojis. So you can see, I'll just write things down on here. And like I was trying to come up with, Tano Tuesdays for my live stream name. It didn't stick. I was doing those for when Ahsoka was on TV. But we're not going to make everything Tuesday, Tano Tuesday. And, then I was like unboxing, talk about things on eBay that I got, just stuff like that. Here was the design when I was coming up with that tank that we worked on out of the Walker and the Roblox tank. So I'll just sit down and dart out some ideas, and we're going to go to a page right now. Again, costume ideas / figure ideas. These are all things that I've had kicking around my brain. And here was the Rusty Jackalope provision. Let's do this. Let's real quick before I do this. Yeah, the likeness is there. But he got the nose ring, which was a special request, the coloration, the red bandana, Rusty Jackalope Provisions Company, and that cool like windswept font. I love it. So again, Grime City, check that out. But let's start right here. So here's my idea. I'm thinking we're going to take this thing. Again, got this guy. The side view I want. I'll show you guys as I draw it here. And hopefully the pencil picks up pretty good. We've got that little top base. This is not to scale either. I don't want to hear it. And believe it or not, I had my portfolio reviewed by a Marvel inker, and who helped me put together my portfolio to have it reviewed by Marvel for potential gigs. Like, he thought it was good enough that I could go. But when it comes to like shit like this, man, boy, do I struggle. So this is the profile that we have. You guys really can't see that, can you? I'll turn this in a second. This is more or less the profile that we have for this thing. So this is our ground. All right, so that's our profile of that from the side. We could just call it, bang it up against the wall, and have people, sneak through here. But I think what we can do is give it a base. So we put a base, run it to probably a couple more inches to the back. And the same with this part here. We'll just extend this back to match. And then that'll be an open area that people can continue to walk through. And we'll put those railings up on here. And we'll make this into like a little guard tower or watchtower, even like somebody could pay, someplace that somebody could pay to, sit and drink cocktails and watch the ships fly in and out. So I think that's my idea. Let me know what you guys think. And this would be, it'd be pushed up against the wall. And then on the front here, we're going to make this look like stones, rocks, piled up bigger at the bottom, a little bit smaller at the top, just to make it look more natural and placed in. Because again, areas of Gimmick were a temple. It was an ancient temple. So happy Tree Tuesdays. This is the way. Yeah, so the older I've gotten, right, I've learned one of my weak spots in life as a creator is somebody who is a host. I actually get up on stage and host events. I go to conventions and host cosplay contests. I host, trivia shows, things like that. I do this. I get online. I am a host one-on-one to you guys. Believe it or not, that is what this is considered. I am hosting right now. And I understand that my brain, my ADD, ADHD-addled brain runs faster than I can spit out. So sometimes I get confused or confuse other people with what makes sense up here. So drawing it out sometimes allows me to just physically show. And I've learned that the older I get, if I do that, it helps that I have something to point to and go, okay, this is what I mean right here. And then they go, oh, okay, I see. So I'm trying to get in the habit more often of drawing these things out. And if drawing them out in front of you guys is something that maybe helps other people see, part of the process, right? So we've got that done. And Hey, it's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. Cartoons are awesome. Cartoons are actually awesome. It is to scale. It's to fish scale. Hey, good. I'm not completely bananas, but yeah, let's get a base. We'll throw some of that foam on here. I'll give you guys some tips and tricks on that foam. One thing you want to know about cutting that XPS foam is you want your knife to be sharp, because a dull knife foam will dull the shit out of your tools. We're going to stop saying the K-N-I-F-E word. This tool, the foam will dull the heck out of it. And I don't know why. I'm sure there's some science there. But I keep my blade sharpened. I use a sharpener. I don't go through a lot of blades this way. So let's get this piece of foam here. Like I said, I wiped it off with alcohol. And this looks like it's one of the low sheets, if that matters at all. So bring you guys down here. And we're going to say... So we're only going to make the base as wide as this. So yeah, I'm thinking we'll start right there. And we'll just call this here. Trim that edge, and then that'll be the front. So we're going to call that there. Now, I do like to use a straight edge scale when I cut my foam. Blueprint comes in handy. Yeah, and I mean, for me, it's not even a blueprint. It's just like I have to physically show what I intend to do, or, you know, trying to explain it to somebody else makes me seem like I'm, you know, talking in 3 different languages. So I have a scale here. It's just a ruler. I took the cork backing off of it. I'm actually going to be putting sandpaper on there so it has a grip when it's placed down. But for right now, for these purposes, perfectly fine. So I'm only going to make my blade go out a little bit. I don't need a whole damn thing, especially with cutting foam. And just going to let the blade walk through the foam, using that straight edge, keeping my knife blade as straight as I can so I don't end up with a bevel, which I've done before countless times. So, you know, trying to learn from my past mistakes. There we go. And then we got this way. And ideally, I would actually be standing up while I did this, but because I want you guys to be able to see what I'm doing, I'm not. So just bear with me if it looks a little funny. You see how it's starting to slow down and pull the blade out? That's a good sign that it's starting to get dull. So again, I'm going to sharpen this bad boy up. That's how quickly this foam will dull your knife, dull your tools. I have a hot wire cutter in the other room. I used to do 1/12 scale dioramas, and one thing I got a lot from people is not everybody has those hot wire cutters at home, so I like to show how to do it with these little utility tools. It's funny when the offcut looks a little bit better than the one that you just did, but we'll go ahead here. We'll neaten this up. Let's see. Actually, since that is a Really straight. Let's see here what we got. I mean, damn. Yeah, I was going to trim that edge up, but I think because we're going to give it a base, we don't have to worry too much about the edges. Yeah. So we'll go this. Well, here's the thing. I noticed this while I was cutting. I think this piece is going to work out a little better for my needs. So, again, yeah. Yep. So let's straighten this out. Let's sharpen our blade again. And Justin, I like my hot wire cutter. I've used it to cut the 3-inch thick foam before. You're right, just go slow. But again, not everybody has access to these things, right? Not everybody has access to a hot wire cutter, or maybe people don't want to. I was afraid of mine. I'm not gonna lie to you. That shit's scary. The wire glows red. It's like foreboding and scary. And you know, for whatever reason, I think I'd rather, if I had to get injured, I'd rather get injured by a blade than a hot burning wire. For whatever reason, I don't know. But I'm just squaring this off right now. This is not necessary. This is more or less just me being me and wanting my lines to be a little bit more level than the bevel that they have. This is something I've tried to get better at, is cutting straight up and down vertical lines. When I was doing cosplay, making EVA foam cosplay pieces, that was a thing that I struggled with, is somehow I'd always tilt my blade and wind up with some funny angles, like Joe Pesci, like he's a clown, like that's how he amused you funny. That's those type of angles. Okay. I hope it's going to be cool. So we've got that, right? So we've got more or less, yeah, see, I somehow managed to put an angle, whatever. We're gonna keep moving on this, all right? We're not gonna spend so much time being precious. I can always sand it, make some changes. So we've got this, we've got that there, and then this is gonna be to the front. So we've got this piece here for the front, so now we're gonna need one for the top and the back. So why don't we do this? Why don't we use this piece? Let's see how long it is. I mean, yeah, that'll do it. So we're going to cut this thing to be about, we're looking at 5.5 inches wide. Yeah, that's 5.5 on the nose. So 5.5 inches wide. I have used Sintra. I have used Sintra. I use Sintra to make cosplay pieces of armor for other costumes. So let's see, we'll go 5.5 wide. We're actually going to go just shy of 5.5 because I got an idea here. I don't know if it's going to work, but I do have an idea. If I wanted to be super precious, which I do, about my angles, use one of my 1, 2, 3 blocks to bank my my blade against, so I at least know that that edge is going to be straight. There we go. Close enough. Close enough. So that's 5.5 on the damn nose. Let's trim that up just a hair. And this is usually how I work. Like, I've had people, want to come over and work on cosplay and stuff with me. And if I'm teaching, I work at a snail's pace. I know these YouTube videos are a little bit instructional, but most of you guys have had a little bit of experience with this. Let's see. Armor custom figures with EVA foam. Movable clothing in the same way. Oh, I'm sure. You could probably for certain do like a vest, boot covers. You'd have to find like 1 millimeter EVA foam. It's possible. Anything is possible. You're just going to have to know the limits of the material and know how to make those limits work in your favor. Yeah. Yep. There's actually a bunch of Sintra pieces out in my garage about halfway formed from various projects. I've also used PVC pipes, like straight out of the plumbing section of Lowe's for armor pieces, and worked out. Craft felt, you could absolutely use craft felt. Hey, TAR, how's it going? We are over here talking about different types of foams, plastics, getting things recycled for free. On the subject of Sintra, if you have a local sign company nearby, which I happen to have in town, like literally, if I could stand on my roof and look, I could see it from here. Call them up and ask them if they have any offcut bins or scrap bins, and offer to buy some of it from them. They usually will like give you the majority of what you ask for, and any of the bigger pieces they'll charge you like a super low rate for. And I am a slut for savings. So, with your offcuts, you guys know me. I don't like to throw a lot away. If you have a lot of pieces like this that can be used as like pillars or whatever, save them. Or you can be even more like me and have a little tote here, little container, where I keep pieces just like those. And throw it in there, and I use those to cut up bricks that I've used for various projects. So keep those. Now, like, I'll go ahead and hold on to this one because that's about the thickness of the bricks that I want. A little long, so I'll put that in there. These guys, though, they're like little shim wedges. I'm probably not going to use those. I'll set them aside until we're done messing with this project, but those will probably get tossed, and shit like this, that'll get thrown right in the garbage. My trash can is a recycling garbage can, so it gets dumped into the recycling. So there's that. But again, you guys see, I use a lot of the same stuff, same items and projects for projects and other projects. So we've got our main piece, then we've got this bad boy here. And I think we can actually bring it in a little. Yeah, I'll bring it in a little bit more. Maybe I won't. Maybe I won't. Cool. All right. Here's a lucky. This is pure luck. So there were screw holes or something like that there, or like where something pegged in. I think we can take a toothpick, cut it in half, or a couple of them. Purely experimentation here. We'll just break them. Break them in half. We'll put super glue, drop the super glue into the hole. Oopsie doopsie. Ask about Home Depot giving cutaways. I don't know if they do around here. It'd be nice. Stupid thing's plugged up. Plugged up or bricked up? You tell me. Plugged up. That's all right. This is a little bit thicker of a gel super glue, which is good. We're just going to utilize that existing hole. We love to use the hole. And we're going to go ahead, put these toothpicks in there, and give ourselves a couple of spikes so that when we put this on here, you guys see the vision? It'll have something to physically bite onto as well when we connect it. Yeah, that'll work. So I'm going to let that super glue dry. I could use the kicker on it right now, but I'm not going to. Instead, we're just going to put the cap on here, set that aside. I'm going to let that cure up. Yeah, that's fortunate. Cool. Wow. Let's see, we're going to go there. So why don't we be fortunate as well here? Let's make an educated, let's make a smart move, shall we, guys? Instead of making a dumb move, let's make a smart move. I love a mechanical grab on things, and if you're wondering what a mechanical grab is, it's anything that like physically connects two things together, and a chemical grab is like glue. So a mechanical grab would be like screws, nails, staples, fasteners, nuts and bolts, and or in this case, it would be toothpicks into foam. So I'm taking my pin vise, which again, everybody should have one of these. I can grab a link and drop it in the description. It'll be an affiliate link to Amazon. But get yourself a pin vise. It comes with drill bits. Thing's handier than hell. And I'm just going to put two holes here for the toothpicks to go through into the foam so that we have a physical purchase when we mate this together, right? So it's got something physical that's going to help hold it in place while the glue dries as well. There we go. Is that easy? I didn't have to struggle or anything, and now we've got a little hole right there. Let's check to see if the toothpick will fit through it, or if I have to go up a size and drill bit. Nope, that'll fit perfectly. I eyeballed that perfectly. That's 9.5 years of working at the same place in machining, is being able to look at a drill bit and go, yep, that's the right size, and fit a rivet in there with, less than 1/4 of a thou tolerance on either side. This plastic is just soft enough so this thing goes through it like butter, and then I just go backwards, aug out the hole if there's any pieces that are hanging in the way. That's out of the way. And then, like I've said before, I'm trying to get way better at putting my tools away when I'm done with them. So I put my bit back in there, and I put that back in my holder. Same with this scale. I no longer need it. It's in my way. Get out of here, you scale. I'm going to keep this blade out because we're going to use that in a moment. But let's look at attaching this here. So we're going to use Super Tack, Eileen Super Tack. Turbo Tack, Turbo Tack, not Turbo Tax. Turbo Tacky Glue, Eileen's. And we're going to we're talking about Fisto here. Nice. I mean, if you can get it for free from a construction site too, ask for offcuts. Like, hey, you guys have any foam offcuts that you're going to throw away? They'll be happy to let you have it. I've gotten wood that way too, where I'll be like, hey, you got any, 2x that you guys are going to be throwing out or cut too short? Oh, there's a pile over there. Help yourself. Neat. Hey, man, that's what it's called. So we're going to use this, and we're going to connect it to here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cheat a little bit and give myself a footprint. I'm pushing into the foam, which is why the camera's shaking. Sorry about that, guys. But now I've got this little layout here where this stuff's going to go. So what we're going to do is we're going to take Eileen's Turbo Tack. We're going to put it on there. And I'm just putting that in all the places that this thing's going to bite and grip. Cool. Then I'm going to take these, put those bad boys in place. Where'd that second one go? There it is. This is from a Bjorn set. I think it was a Chat May Dino Hunter set. I got it from the trash next to one of those put your baby here dumpsters, or put your clothes here, or baby clothes here, or something for churches. And then they put all the stuff that's not clothes outside of it to become a hazard for the rest of the world. And then we'll place that there, right in the TurboTac. And then we'll just use our little tool here to push that in. Push that in there. And now that's got a physical grab to hold on to keep that in place while that glue dries. Yeah, it's from a Dumpster Baby thing. Dumpster Baby piece. New Vegas is the superior Fallout game. Brace myself for all the beatings that I'm going to take for saying that. And then same with right here. I think what we're going to do is I'm going to put a little, make it so you guys can see, slap some TurboTac on there. I'm going to put some TurboTac on these spikes too. I think that'll somehow help. I don't know if it'll help. I'd like to think it will. A little bit there. So that drips down there. I'm going to see. We're winging this. We're making this up as we go along, right? I say right like you guys are in charge of this and I'm not the one that's fucking making this. Right? Well, guys, right? We're all on the same page here. Right? Right, guys? Guys? All right, so I can already see where I might have an issue. So let's avoid that issue. Where is that offcut that I just had? Put it in here for bricks. Let's go ahead and, no, I snapped it, so it's no longer long enough, but we're good. These I got for free from the gas station. They are coffee stirrers, I guess that's what they are. And yeah, I'm just gonna shear. Yeah. Let's give that an edge, and we'll use it to hold that up until we can get some of this foam cut, because I want this TurboTac to do its job fast. So I don't want to keep wiggling this and breaking that bond as it cures up. So we'll go. How do we want to do this? Right. So cut two pointed edges. And there. Go. Oop. You know, we could use a cool temperature hot glue for this as well. And I'm just wondering to myself why I didn't do that in the first place. But here we are, learning together as friends. Maybe the real diorama is the friends we made along the way. It's not the real diorama we made. But yeah, so now we've got something holding that up, making that pretty level. I think we are going to fire up the glue gun just to be safe. And we'll use it on the coldest setting so that it doesn't, melt all the way through the glue. And again, I like to use my SureBonder precision tip. We love to be precise with our tips here at the studio. There we go. So that's on. That's going to heat up. And what we'll do is we'll put a bead of glue. We'll put a bead of glue down around here, all the way across. Then we'll flip it over. We'll put a nice bead across the top, across the bottom. Try and keep that level while that TurboTac does its job. And we'll go from there. We'll make something to support the back. I do think that that's got to have something. Huh. Like Wilson Phillips. Hold on for one more day. Go ahead and use two of these. Perfect. So let's see here. We'll cut about 1/4 of an inch off of each one. Each one, I mean each end. Some days I'm not very bright. Dogs are gonna bark. Boys, girls, stop yelling. I know, you get excited when you hear Grandma. You say we want to yell at her and ask her for treats. Yeah, that'll work. Okay. So we're just gonna put that one there for a second. Let's get some glue on here first. This is what happens when you work like a storm, kids. Make sure it's full setting. Okay. What's my favorite thing I've made? Great question. My favorite thing I've made. I'm gonna have to say it's a Fallout prop. It's probably my shish kebab from Fallout 4. That's one of the props that I'm very, 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 very proud of. It's one of those that I had a blast working on. And yeah. And I appreciate that reference, 375. Oh, fuck, you're gonna make me think. Let's get this bad boy up here in the charger. A little more juice. Let's get some more toothpicks out. All right, guys. Full disclosure: the toothpicks weren't trash. They're not used. I bought a box for $1 about 5 years ago, and I'm still using the sons of bitches. They just won't go away. So, okay. So we're gonna go put this in here. Bjorn, talk to me. What's your idea? Or is this going to be a secret? It's got a secret. Let's go. Let's part. It's precious. Okay. That's one. And now we're going to go in from the back or the bottom, depending on what you like. Oh, wow. I couldn't do that again. Dude, all I did was turn the bottle and thought I had to squeeze to get it out there, and I just shot it perfectly on the tip. Look at that. That is filthy. I could not have planned that better if I tried. Do I use battery-operated lights in my projects? Yes. There are battery-operated lights all over Gimmick and in various locations on Gimmick. Okay. Ease that into the hole. There we go. Okay. Let's get another one of these here. So we're just going to cut that. There. Gate and solo where Kira gets caught. Absolutely. Oh, like the Imperial Outpost? And she's all like, Kira, or Han. And he's all like, Kira, I'll come back for you. And he does, but then she's come to a life of crime. Real crime. Murder crime. It's the scene. Hey, that's a good idea. One of my plans is to make some of my tools look in-world, just for fun, right? Just to look neat. And yeah, that's a great idea there. I think you should do it, and you should take pictures and show us that you did it so we can see it. Hey, Tuna, have a great night. Thank you for stopping by to the stream. And everybody go check out Huckleberry Prospect. Okay. All right, so I'm seeing the issue here. I think I can fix that. So it's got a slight tilt because of the weight of the back. So it should be like that. I think I can fix that though. Yep, it's going to take a little bit of creative finagling here, which is why we use stuff that's free. So if I wreck it, it's not the end of the world. Not that I want to wreck it, but you guys get what I'm saying. So we're going to insert again, spin on it. Let's get that in there. And if we're going to push that forward, we're going to have to tilt that. Ah, that's part of the problem. Here we are. I think I've resolved the issue with this angle. Let's see. So these foam pillars, I think when these under, these pillars are too weak. They don't have the same rigidity as this foam here. So I'm just going to use pieces of this scrap. We'll make some pillars real quick. Yeah. And we'll do something fun before I put them on there. Yeah, that'll work. So we're going to cut 2 pillars. Should I do? We'll do 2. And then you'll see, you guys can't see right now, but I'm actually just lining the other pillar that I just cut up here on the foam so that I can cut the same diameter. Okay. So we've got 2 foam pillars now. Oh. Circles back to what we were saying before, using the correct connection, the correct joinery for the thing. I've learned that some things you just have to use a mechanical connection for. You can't use chemical and vice versa. It has saved me countless hours of grief, because sometimes things just things don't want to adhere the way you need them to. And I've learned that if you use the right thing the first time, you don't have to do it 27 times in a row to figure it out. Or was that, Bjorn, were you answering the question, or were you telling me to trim my fingernails? Because my brother in Christ, I don't have fingernails. Okay, let's get that in there. All right, that's going to work. So just real quick, taking my knife and I'm making some cuts along the pillar. And I want to keep the bases wide. So I'm just making some various digs, angled cuts in here. Okay. Then, oh, okay, you answered the question. Yeah, no, keeping your nails trimmed and also keeping dirt out of underneath your fingernails will get you far in life. Okay, so we took that, and now I've just given it a texture so it looks like rock. Or looks a little more like rock, I should say. Not The Rock. It's not Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Or Bjorn the Patron Johnson. Here we go. And in there. And we'll pin it in on the bottom right here. Nice. All right. Now we're getting somewhere. Now we're just going to swap this other one out. We'll do the same thing with the pillar. Okay. Let's change these tunes, guys. Yeah, you gotta be tired of hearing that. There we go. I'll put on some Skinamax music for you guys. Cut a couple of chunks out of there. All right. Howdy, what's going on, my friend? Welcome. Right, so we're gonna go. Guess that'll penetrate there. Hell yeah. We are having an exciting night building with garbage here, discussing the launch of my Patreon, which we're about to get into. And watching me use foam for trial and error on stuff, which is a great money saver and a great piece for world building. And then I want to put, since we got the glue gun, since we got this out, let's do this. Let's just run a bead. And happy birthday to Outer Multiverse, by the way. We want to say happy birthday to our friend. Happy birthday, Brian. Hope your day was fan-fucking-tastic, right? Hope that all the good things happen to you and only you. If anybody else caught that reference, please sound off in the chat. Hope all the bad things in the world happen to you and only you. Yeah, let's do that. Right. So, while I'm doing my gluing, I should be embarrassed of myself for that terrible joke. So, opening up a Patreon. It is a way for you guys to support the channel if you'd like. There's never, ever an obligation. It's just, oh my, I shot my glue all over the table. It's just an option. So, let's take a look here. Let you guys know about the membership tier. So I've got a $3 tier, which is it's basically just, hey, famine, don't need a lot from you. Keep kicking ass. Here's something to help out. It's cheaper than a cup of coffee these days for most places. And you guys get support to behind the scenes, a little bit of behind the scenes content, Patreon only posts, and also your name's going to be included in the credits for each video at the support tier that you're listed at. And then we've got the $5 tier, which is $5 a month. It's a great membership level. This is the one that I think that people are going to love. You get the behind the scenes post. You get your name included in the credits under your support tier. I'm going to shout you out by name at the end of the video that comes out that month when you guys sign up. And for every 4 months that you're signed up quarterly, you're going to get a digital world building perk that you're going to be able to take and print out at home or send it to Office Max and have it printed out. Essentially what I'm going to do is create kind of franchise agnostic signs and advertisements that you guys can print out and put up all over your world. A lot of us still do the thing where we grab things from Google and attach them at various points and print them out and whatnot, or we make a couple of our own where we like Photoshop them together. I'm going to make like generic world agnostic signs that can be used across a lot of people's worlds. They're not Star Wars specific. They're not Blade Runner specific. They're just cool sci-fi advertisement. And you guys will be able to print those out. There will be a couple of other things too. I don't want to spill the beans on those yet because I still have to physically confirm that I can get them produced. I can make that happen, but it is something that I'm certainly excited to offer to you guys. There will be some for sale at a different situation. It'll be a case of, hey, these ones are for my patrons only, but there are other ones that people can purchase. The $10 tier, which is like the holy shit, thank you guys so much. You really must want to support me and see me win. You get all the previous perks, Patreon only content. Your name gets shouted out in the credits in the tier. You're going to get a physical copy. I'm also going to provide physical sheets for you guys of these stickers. They're probably going to be, the sticker sheets, some of them for the $10 tier, probably once a year will maybe be a holographic run of the particular stickers. So they're shinier, have a little bit of different light pickup, things like that. And it's a huge contribution. I appreciate it. And also I'm going to do my best to give you guys access to the videos before they come out. And you're also going to be, you guys are going to see some BTS vlogs, little clips here and there of things behind the scenes, stuff like me trolling the cats as I work on things. No, Snowflake, I'm not talking about you. It's the other cats. But I appreciate you guys, and I see that I've already got 3 people who signed up to Patreon, so that's like 3 more than I thought I'd get. So I do appreciate you guys so much, and I hope that hopefully you enjoy these things. Yes, you got it. Thank you, Bjorn. I appreciate that. Do appreciate that. My greatest crafting failure. Story time with famine. Anybody who's a wrestling fan will get. It's time for story time with Adam Cole, baby. My greatest crafting fail. My very first full cosplay. Batman. I busted my ass to make this cosplay. Quite literally stepped on a nail. Oof. I didn't make the shirt, so I don't care. The night before the convention, I quite literally stepped on a fucking nail and had it go through my foot. So I was already in a lot of pain. Get to the convention, suit up in the parking lot, take a couple of pictures. I am feeling like the baddest of badass. I've never felt so cool in my fucking life. I had, essentially become Batman. And for a fat kid to be able to pull off the cool Batman, I thought I was the shit. So sitting there, I've got this, this costume on, feeling good, feeling fresh. We start to walk to the convention and I hear a pop. I'm like, I don't remember Batman's costume going pop. So I look and a piece of my costume came off. Not a problem. Planned for this. We go back to the car. I brought super glue. We reattach the thing. Give it a minute to cure. Super glue cures. We give it a couple tugs. Good to go. So I start walking to the convention again. I hear pop pop this time. That's 2 pops. Now I'm like, what, is somebody shooting at me? Like, what the hell is going on here? I'll be damned if it was not so cold here in upstate New York in a random October, that the glue that I had used to attach all the pieces of armor, just like I followed the tutorials online and all that stuff. I had been studying my ass off. It was so cold, the glue literally could not hold on to things and just quit. So as I'm walking back to the car after these 2 pieces fell off, piece by piece of my armor, it's just coming off this Batman costume. The rage, the palpable rage that I could feel, not even unpalpable, from that happening to me after all that work I put in. Oh man, it killed me. I was in a sour mood, but I did learn a lesson. I learned, I did nonstop pop with the stainless steel. X gave it to me that day. I'm not gonna lie to you. I learned that I should certainly use physical attachment points for certain things, and use use chemical ones for other things. But that was a hell of a lesson to learn. Never did cosplay Batman again. Maybe I will one day. I'd love to do the armor from Batman v Superman. I think that's basically it's the Dark Knight Returns armor, and that's like my favorite Batman non-suit. Like it's not his traditional Batman suit that's out there. But I learned my lesson that day. Absolutely learned my fucking lesson that day, and it was basically use physical things that physically grab onto your outfits. So I again learned that certain pieces need to be attached. They can't just be, slapped on with this glue or that glue because you have it on hand. And certain things need to be screwed on or bolted on, or even those push button snap togethers, safety pins, things like that. Like physical attachments go a long way over chemical ones in a lot of purposes. And this was a case where I should have known better, right? I didn't, but I should have. So how's that for a piece of famine lore right there, guys? You learned something today. Go. So let's do. Just add. Oh, no. And I'm just using a little toothpick to make an angle, essentially a little brace to go in here, help support that, and it'll add some aesthetic to it as well. Go. All right, now we're getting somewhere. So now we're starting to take shape. Again, we're going to continue this railing here. We'll probably go all the way back just for the sake. I'll put a ladder. Just 3 days ago, busted clone gunship in the left wall from the Geonosis arena. Hell yeah. Thanks, Howdy. But yeah, having different pieces from different play sets is always a good thing. That's something I've learned. Here's another tip for you. You asked something that's important that I learned is grab the broken stuff that other people might not want, because there's plenty of pieces out there, right? Like there's plenty of shit that, you know, we could absolutely be utilizing for our world building. Broken toy pieces from yard sales, things like that. Like there's plenty of stuff out there. I don't let these go to waste, but I also don't want to use them right now, so I'm going to set those aside. That gives me an idea. Okay. And then this is the part where the beat breaks down. Gets real intense, no one makes a sound. I'm going to go ahead and super glue that there. So, you'll get there. We all do. Yeah, and again, I pick up trash. I save things. What did I pick up the other day? I think I put it in my bits bin. I was at that world's worst Marshall's. World's worst Marshalls. They had like a toy section that was literally one aisle on either side of an aisleway, and it was like crap. But anyway, you know, that's not what Marshalls exists for. So Marshalls, I picked it up off the floor. It was like a little clip off of one of those, you know, like showing the age of the clothes or the size of the clothes or whatever. So I just snagged it off the ground because it looked like a neat little thing. And I'm sure once I paint it and weather it after I add it on something, it's going to be a great greebly. It's not going to be recognizable. And it was free. Like, just literally, like I said, I literally snatched it off the ground. I was like, yeah, no, this is neat. And then took it. Like, you know, the seagulls in Finding Nemo. Mine. Would have been hilarious if it was like a security tag or something and I walked out the door and it went off, and then I would explain to a security guard who's watching the footage why I picked up this little thing off the floor and put it in my pocket. But fight me. And especially once you start to really develop the what would you call it? It's not a sixth sense, but just like develop an eye for finding these things. You know, you really start to like see shit everywhere. Kind of like the Matrix vision, where Neo finally gets to see the Matrix, and just everything's ones and zeros. It's like that, except instead of, you know, garbage, it's an outpost on a strange alien world. Nice. Nice there. That's what I like. Alright, so we're going to cheat a little bit here. We're going to use CA Kicker. This is cyanoacrylate, is super glue, crazy glue. Kicker. It just forces it to cure. Nice. And you'll note I didn't use the super glue on the foam. I only used the super glue on the wood and plastic because what? Bjorn, your homework for the weekend or while you're at work, see The Matrix. Hands down, easily one of the best pieces of cinema ever made. Science fiction or otherwise. Hell yeah. Do you work at a retail store, a liquor store, or what? And also, Red, that's awesome. All right, so I am deep in Matrix lore. I love the Matrix movies, so that is where you and I will disagree. But I know that a lot of people prefer to just see the first one and stop after that. I won't tell you which ones to watch, but I will say see the first one. It is an absolute masterpiece. It easily floats around my top 5 movies of all time, depending on what day of the week. Let's see here. So let's see. What kind of paint will I use on this project? Always acrylic. I don't dabble in other paint types because acrylic does the job that I need it to. And acrylic won't eat the foam. I will coat this in Mod Podge when all is ready to be painted, just so that it seals up the pores and everything, and then the paint will really stick to it well. But that's a little further down the line. Okay, work at a law firm, so you want? Oh yeah, I guess I'd give wine too if I had a good lawyer. Are you a lawyer or a legal? What is it? Legal assistant or whatever the hell they call? I just work here. I don't know, man. Nice. I don't know what APAR is, so I'm just going to pretend that I do know and say, very cool, very cool. It did. It borrowed from the Terminator as well. There's that whole, is the Matrix a Terminator prequel or sequel discourse. But at the end of the day, it's the film. It did really inspire a genre and really bring to the forefront some crazy shit. Like, it blows my mind that because Columbine happened, the Matrix didn't get a huge showing in theaters. They actually pulled it from a lot of theaters because Columbine happened. And so it was nowhere near the success that it could have been. It became a cult following. It was one of those where the cult following of people got people talking, and it was, well acted by everybody involved. Lawrence Fishburne, Keanu Reeves, Carrie-Anne Moss, Hugo Weaving, just that scene. I don't want to spoil it for you, Bjorn, but the movie's 25 goddamn years old. Oh, you're on the billing side. Boo. No, it is what it is. People got to get paid for the work. I get it. Let's see here. Yeah. But I mean, it was either we take away, take away guns from parents whose kids, commit crimes, or we take away trench coats. So trench coats had to go. But yeah, not to get on that high horse and go on that thing, but yeah, it's Columbine really affected the cinema and the way movies were marketed and made, music videos, things like that, stories. But I digress. So, this is what we're looking at here. I think I want to start decking this out with some cardboard, which leads me to my next trash bash bit. I drop things on the floor. I am a little pack rat when it comes to saving cardboard boxes. Cardboard boxes, tubes. This is wood, but it fit nicely in there. So, and again, scrap. Piece of wooden scrap. So we'll go ahead and grab some thick-ish cardboard here. Let's see. We're going to be making stuff out of a box from Texas Toast today. Anybody from Texas? Your toast is pretty good. Here's a tip. I got a figure with a trench coat right here. Take your figure. Take some. You can obviously take the trench coat right off the toy. Take you some blue painter's tape. Cut it into thin ribbons. Lay it on here until you have a whole thing made, right? So the whole thing is covered in blue. Peel it off. Lay it down on a piece of paper. Make your cuts. And then make a template out of EVA foam. Cut your armholes. Put it over your figure. And then with a hairdryer or a heat gun. If it's a heat gun, be careful. Keep your distance. With a hairdryer, you can get a little closer. Get that EVA foam warm and pinch it in around the waist. Heat it up again. Pinch it down here around the legs. And then fuss around and make your collar. And you should be able to make a pretty good trench coat out of EVA foam. But you use that tape to make a template. People do the same thing to copy clothes for cosplay, or even if they say they have a favorite shirt design, they'll make a template with tape and paper, and then they go ahead and they put that on their mannequin or whatever, and they make a outfit. Sir, this is a Wendy's. I don't know why you're yelling at me, sir. I can put that on the list of things to try out if I'm successful with it. You may have better luck than I do. If I'm successful with it, I'll certainly maybe throw together a video or do it on a stream. So here we go. Just cutting this box of Texas Toast here. What's that, Snowflake? Where did I get this shirt? Oh, this shirt right here. Oh, it's over on Teespring. Link is in the description of the video. Did he are you talking about the one where he just sculpted the clothes on that guy? The cowboy action figure that he was trying to make, and then he made a cowboy statue instead? I think for what he wants, I think that figure is the base figure that he used. I think that was way too articulated for what he wanted, and I think that's part of why he would have struggled with doing that with EVA. A lot of the Hasbro figures, they have that tighter, stronger core, and I think that helps. All right. So we've got this strip here, and since we're adhering this to foam, the foam is a little, this shirt is goddamn ridiculous. Couldn't stand seeing myself in it. So because this is paper, it's got that smooth side where the logos and stuff are printed on it. I take the rough side of a sanding stick, nail file or whatever, and I just drag it a couple of times across. This also kind of cuts down on some of the rigidity of that's caused by that layer of skin that they put on there for the artwork, and helps it adhere better. So another little tip for you. So we've got this strip here. I'm going to move the camera down in a second for you. Do dad things. Hey, thank you for coming in tonight. 375, thank you for subscribing to the Patreon. Appreciate that. Anybody who's interested, the link's right there across the screen. And also, I believe it is down in the description. It's in the chat. You can click on that, see what we got. I went over some of the tiers. And let's see here. So we want to use this to dress out some of the areas. So the first thing I'm going to do is take this knife. There's just a piece hanging down that I didn't like. And we'll go this. Cut that down. All right, so what I want to do is actually put a bigger strip there first, and then we'll use some of these smaller strips, the thinner strips, as like dressing. They call me Ranch because they see how I'd be dressing. Nobody calls me Ranch. That's really weird. I don't know why I just did that. All right, so we'll go just eyeballing it. Yeah, that'll make me happy. Battery saver is on. Consider plugging in your device. Why don't you plug in your device? Let's see. Don't mind me. Hi, dogs. Hi, very excitable dogs. He stood up. He stood up. That must mean it's food. Huh, that's what you guys think. They say famine. We would like some stacks and some dinners. I know they don't sound like that. That's what they sound like in my head when I voice them. But they don't sound like that. Rosie's very intelligent. Huh, Mama Rosie? Damn, how's that for picking the thickness by eye? I amaze myself sometimes, guys. Right, so go. You know, I got a sickness for the thickness. What can I say? It's dressing like a cowboy ranch dressing. Maybe. Okay. And then here's another thing that I like to do. You guys have probably seen me do this in other videos. I'll use a scrap piece of foam as a spreading tool for adhesives, especially like tacky glue, because it gets a nice thin coat on there and basically creates like a skin on there. And with how quickly the stuff tacks up, that's great. And then I take it and put that same thin skin, maybe a little thicker, across the bonding surface. And we go just like this. And it damn near immediately grabs, he says, as it starts to not grab. Huh. Usually this doesn't happen to me. Usually it stays up. Okay, so got that on here, and then we're going to come with two strips like that from the top and bottom. I just want to trim this little hair off of here. And this piece we can actually use super glue on. We won't, but we could. So I don't want to risk getting any super glue on the foam. I eat away at the foam, then I have to weather that spot and make it look like something. Extra steps, you know? Okay, so. Somebody say queso? Damn, that doesn't want to come off. There we go. Okay, we'll cut that flush. Well, I fluffed that up. All right, we're gonna let that sit there. We're gonna cut a couple of new pieces here. Don't worry, friends. We're gonna get through this together. And this is all for free. It's all free stuff. So we'll go ahead and we'll cut 2 new ones. And I think we need some rock music. Go. Did I miss something? Are we ye in our haws? I love wearing my hat. This hat, you guys have seen me in the videos. You guys know. I love this thing. I get people that can't tell adventure style and like rugged style from cowboy stuff. And so they're like, oh, I didn't know you were into country music. Not. Why are you wearing a cowboy hat? I don't know, because number 1, I like the way this hat looks. Number 2, it's not a cowboy hat. Number 3, fuck you. Like, let people dress how they want and, you know, wear what they want and not worry so much about what other people are wearing. Like, I could see if I was wearing football pads and a jersey and was carrying a helmet and you said, oh, I didn't know you played football. I could see making that mistake. But, like, no, it's just, I just happen to like this hat. And also, this hat happens to be made from 100% recycled materials from Brazil. Again, and it's from the real deal Brazil. And these are made from tarps that are used to transport fruit in Brazil. And when they get scrapped out off the trucks, they buy them from the trucking company, and they cut them out and make hats for them. The metal band, is actually from the tires that are scrapped off the trucks. They take the metal out of the tires, which truck tires and I think car tires have metal bands in them. You ever run your tires so raw, you'll know. He'll be back. The frog will be there. Just getting some things relocated and set up for the new layout. So, frog shall return. Did you catch anything? Yeah, I don't get why, like, I know back in the 50s, I know science fiction was popular, like, there were space cowboy things with, like, cowboys with ray guns or whatever, which is cool as hell, so I don't get why. Remember how I said I wasn't going to use super glue here? And yet here I am doing it? Don't know what I was thinking. Anyway, but I don't know why it didn't stick around as popular with that crowd. Not sure. Famine is a space cowboy. I would absolutely. I'd probably, have a job like livestock or running a provisions company, if you know what I'm saying. Or maybe I'd be a hired gun. I'm a pretty steady hand with a firearm. I've got good aim. Maybe I'd be a regulator. Somebody's got to protect the space cows, guys. Yeah. There's a lot of good, like, Western sci-fi. And I wish it's a genre that would get explored more. But we do have shows like The Mandalorian, which is very much a space Western. It's based off of, Japanese samurai, the Lone Wolf and Cub, but it is very much a Clint Eastwood movie. It's very much True Grit, It was a 7 Mules for Sister Sarah. Like it's that type of Western. Firefly, yep. That's my favorite. Got to be handy with the steel, earn your keep, you know what I mean? Young Guns is underrated Western. And I say underrated because today people don't talk so much about it. It was a very popular movie when it came out, enough to warrant a sequel. But, you mentioned Young Guns, and people are like, oh, yeah, right, with, what's his name, Emilio Estevez. And it's like, well, first off, what's his name? Put some respect on his name. And number 2, yeah, with Emilio Estevez. I liked that very short resurgence of Westerns that we had there for a hot minute. In the late 2000s, or the late 2010s, which was like we got the remake of 310 to Yuma, True Grit. Christ, there was a handful of them. I really liked them, and I've got them on DVD. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. We're like starting to make Westerns again. And then it just kind of died off. I'm like, yeah, it was super weird getting Russell Crowe as a cowboy. Not gonna lie to you, and Christian Bale in a Western, but there was a lot of talent in that film. Ride a horse. My favorite is Tombstone. Tombstone is my favorite Western. The dynamic that they captured of the fight at the OK Corral, which is still argued to this day, really, really well done. They really did a good job with the myth of Wyatt Earp, the legends of Doc Holliday. They did a good job. I give them all the credit, and you could tell that Kurt Russell really enjoyed making that project. Nothing wrong with that, Bjorn. I think I saw Wyatt Earp once. Wasn't a huge fan What's the other one? Oh, Clint Eastwood, Morgan Freeman. Somebody help me out here. My brain is not running like it used to. What the hell did I just do? Oh, okay. Guess I'm not completely dumb. Silverado. I don't think I saw Silverado. I'll put that on my list. But I really, 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 really love Deadwood. That's a great series if you haven't seen it. Unforgiven, that's the one. Yep, good call. That's a great Western too. Not my favorite. I know it's on the top of a lot of people's favorites. As far as modern Westerns go, Gran Torino is probably my favorite because I grew up with arguably 100 of Clint Eastwood's characters. That old guy that's just curmudgeoned and tired of the world and tired of anybody that tries to tell him anything. Immigrants' kids who, now inherited this world that they live in, that, run barber shops and things like that, where, I grew up with those people. And I also grew up watching people who were, racially prejudiced learn to be not such a fucking piece of shit because they actually spent time getting to learn the people that they hate and realize that all their hate wasn't there for any reason at all other than their own, upbringing and choosing to stick to that. And that movie will go down as one of my all-time favorites. Django is a fantastic. Oh man, Anthony, if I would check out, I would check out Tombstone. All-star studded cast. Everybody brought their goddamn A game. Just, it was the shit. Hell on Wheels, I didn't get to watch. I think I caught the first episode when it was on AMC, and then it went away. For whatever reason, I think they moved the time slots, and I just couldn't watch it. But, and I'm talking modern Westerns. When I say modern Westerns, I mean, Breaking Bad is a modern Western. No Country for Old Men, modern Western. Sons of Anarchy, I would argue, is a modern Western. Things like that. Breaking Bad, also a modern Western. Well, I butchered that one up. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, no, I hope that nobody ever calls anybody's people that ever again. And I'm not going to throw that on the screen, just out of respect for everybody, and I'm not going to repeat it. But yeah, there's some fucking vitriol that was thrown out. Again, because people were raised in that time, and there were actual scientists and shit that actually tried to convince people that, certain colors of human beings were better than colors of others, and people from certain places were genetically superior. It's absolutely wild to me. Yep. Skin that smoke wagon. Yeah. You know what movie or what Western show I think had the best dialogue is Deadwood. I remember the first time I sat down to watch it with my old roommate Neil, and we put it on. And after the first episode, he turns and looks at me and goes, "You know, they shouldn't have called this show Tombs or Deadwood. They should have just called it Cocksucker because that's the third word out of everybody's mouth." Literally, it was like this cocksucker over here owes me 13 coins, and this cocksucker over here bought the mining rights to my granddaddy's property. And the women were like, "Oh, this cocksucker owes you $33." It was just everybody kept saying it. Oh my god, I was dying. And again, talk about your all-star cast, like just tremendous people. And you know, my sweet crush Timothy Oliphant being both in westerns, and then Justified, another modern western, and then in The Mandalorian. I'm just like, yes, please. Yeah, there's a tremendous amount of talent just in that show. Like it's one of those where it's like you're never gonna get a cast together like that ever again to make anything similar. Put this to work. Gotcha, bitch. Haha. Yeah, Sons of Anarchy was based on Hamlet. Absolutely was, but it was also shot as a western. There's a lot of influence of Christ. Can you tell it's been a night? A lot of reference and instance to the old John Wayne spaghetti western films. The way he was acted, the way certain characters are portrayed, the ideas that were run through, which is not to say that wasn't inspired as well by Hamlet, the old westerns, but it's pretty fascinating to see what they did with those shows. Boy Meets World is Bjorn's favorite show. That's right, I know stuff. All right, so our next step here is we wait for super glue and regular glue to dry. We don't want to fuss too much with things. I'm gonna put a weight on that just to kind of balance this out. 1 second. Where'd you go? There you are. We're gonna cut some stones to glue to the front of this out of foam. So I'm gonna take this chunk here. Glue that on. All right, so I'm gonna make some rocks right now. Cool. we do that. Let's be a neat and tidy little family. Hey Bjorn, did you know that actress that plays Topanga, she frequents professional wrestling shows, especially GPW in California? It actually no longer surprises me when I find out that celebrities are big into wrestling and go to the shows. Yeah, she's a huge. Kevin Smith, also a huge wrestling fan. Fluffy, he's a big wrestling fan too. All right, so let's get you guys so you can see this. So I've got these pieces of foam here, and I'm basically going to chop them up to make them look more stony than this crappy like faux stone look there. Yep, I remember that. I remember the Vader episodes really stuck with me because of daddy issues and things like that. Yeah, Freddie, I know a few people that used to work for WWE, and they said that he probably knew more about wrestling than they wanted him to. They wanted him there for his writing, for having been in television and film, and to teach the wrestlers acting classes, and he didn't want to do that. He wanted to help write professional wrestling, and I get that. Flustered. Who got me flustered for what? Oh, if you're worried about what you said, no, don't worry about what you said in the comics. It's in the comments. You're completely fine. I just didn't, like I said, I don't want to put that on the screen in case someone comes along and sees that and maybe doesn't know that was a reference to, or looks it up, and so it's a way for me to not put that there. But yeah, it's absolutely something that was in the TV show, and it's something that was said, and it's like, was one of those things where it's like, holy shit, like, ooh, people used to just fucking say whatever back then. I mean, they still do now, and those people are assholes, but you get what I'm saying. Yeah, there's a lot of people that don't admit that they like wrestling, and I get that pro wrestling is for everybody, but also I understand that pro wrestling is not for everybody, if that makes sense. I threw my friend off because he's like, hey, how are you gonna watch wrestling? That stuff's make-believe, blah blah blah. And I was like, all right, cool, what's your favorite show? Maybe I'll check it out. And he's like, oh, Game of Thrones. And I was like, oh fuck, where'd they get a real dragon? He's like, huh? I was like, yeah, where'd they get a real dragon? He's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, well, pro wrestling's fake, right? So Game of Thrones must be real then. Well, no, they have script and storyline and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, pro wrestling does too. It's been going on for almost 100 years. There are storylines that are 50, 60 years old that still get played out here and there. One of the main characters for my wrestling shows in my youth was an undead wizard that fucking shows up and wrestles. Like, I'm aware. I'm very much aware that pro wrestling isn't, quote, real, but I also recognize that it's a show. It's weekly episodic television. Made to entertain. And those are highly trained individuals, athletes and stunt people that, work their ass off and put their bodies on the line on live television. They don't get to redo. They don't get to do a takeover again. I get it. There are stories in professional wrestling that have made me cry. Like, there are stories in professional wrestling that have made me laugh, made me excited, scream at the TV. It makes me forget that pro wrestling is predetermined. It makes me forget that, there are tough times out there. And, one of my idols is Dusty Rhodes. That dude was a real one. Dusty is like one of them guys that, unless you knew Dusty or you heard the stories afterwards, he was one of those wrestlers that wrestled like he believed it was real, right? Like, he was going to win that goddamn championship no matter what. You believed when Dusty put his hand on the television and said, "Put your hand out. I'm reaching out to each and every one of you." Like, he was a legend, and he's one of those people that I've always envied, as far as his ability to talk on a microphone, his ability to be a big man, not just a big man, but he was a fat dude. Like, Dusty was a fat dude, and he could still go with the best of them. There's videos of Dusty playing basketball, playing hoops. The dude's got ups, and he was like a 300-pound guy. Vern Gagne, wow, that's a throwback. Red, you're good. Yeah, Dusty was, he always had somebody. I mean, you look at somebody like Muhammad Ali, dude always had rhymes and things like that in his head ready to go. He created the promo. Like, let's be frank, nobody was cutting realistic promos like that on anybody. And Dusty was one of those cats that could take that and run with it and carry it and do the same thing better, in some cases than others, and I'd say as good as him. And I know all about that. But Flair, Ric Flair, he's had some allegations against him. I know a lot of them are unfounded, but also a lot of it was like the 80s, and that was socially acceptable then, and we can look at it now and go, hey, that shit's not cool. And he's outright handled that when he slips up. But the nicest thing I ever saw him do, because anybody who's watched old professional wrestling probably knows that Ric Flair is Ric Flair 99% of the time. I'm at Rhode Island Comic-Con, and my girlfriend and I were waiting for her photo op to meet Elvira. A few tables away is Ric Flair, and he's doing his meet and greets and photos and everything. And I thought about it, but it was very expensive, and I had, spent a lot of money that weekend, and saw somebody come up to the table, and it was a woman and her daughter. We overheard, and she was wheelchair bound. And she came over to the table, and we were close enough to hear. And she goes, "Oh my God, my daddy would have loved for me to meet you. He would have loved to meet you. He passed away a few years ago, but I told my daughter we had to come meet you. We've been watching you on television since I was a little girl. You're my favorite, blah, blah, blah." And Rick was like, "Oh, thank you so much, blah, blah, blah." And, she's like, "Okay, we came here. We wanted to see you. I wanted to say thank you." And she goes, "Leave." And Rick's like, "Oh, do you want a picture?" And she's like, "Oh, we didn't have that much. We actually weren't going to come, but we managed to scrape together. So we wanted to come and say hi and all that." And Rick's like, "I'm not charging you." Like, his demeanor changed completely. It was no longer the limousines, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limousine riding, jet flying, nature boy Ric Flair. Woo! He was a humble man who was happy. And he goes, "No, we're gonna make some memories right now." He goes, "Come here." And he asked his wife, or I think it was his wife, maybe it was his girlfriend at the time. The dude's been married like 6 times, to take some pictures with them. And he sat there and got right next to her with her chair, had a private conversation, which I didn't hear, which I wouldn't want to hear. That's for them. But he took pictures with her and her daughter, just her, had her, do the nature boy strut in her chair, like it was one of the sweetest, most honest things I had ever seen and you hear all these stories about Rick when he's out, and he's out at bars and stuff, and he's the nature boy, and you run into him at a gas station, he's the nature boy. But that was like a really cool glimpse into the kindness that he had for that person, and that doesn't cover anything else, but it was one of the fondest memories I'll ever have of seeing a pro wrestler interact with somebody. And this to say how cool that was, this is the same weekend when I ran into or I should say when they ran into me. Kevin Nash and Scott Hall steamrolled me and knocked me backwards, and then like apologized to check to see if I was okay, and then gave me the 2 sweet on their way back through. Like, so the Ric Flair thing certainly stuck with me for that to be in my memory. But like, yeah, those 80s, the late 70s, early 80s, and then into the 90s and Attitude Era, those wrestlers, it's crazy because like in my head, right, I hear those numbers and I go, started in the 70s, became popular in the 80s, had their heyday in the 90s, retired out, right? Ric Flair had his last match 2 years ago. That's crazy. DDP has wrestled across 5 decades, 6 decades, 5 decades, and he's 60 something. Like it's just wild to me that they've had such longevity. But then I'm like, hey, John Cena's back. Now wait a minute. John Cena started wrestling when I was in high school, when I was a sophomore. I'm now 38 years old. Holy shit. He's been wrestling a long time. And then you apply that to somebody like Ric Flair. It's like, I guess that does make sense that these guys still go at that age. So, same with Rock. We're just making some rock surface and texture here. Keep chipping at it and knocking pieces out. I know if Jerry Lawler hadn't had the heart attacks, he would still be wrestling. He was still wrestling in Memphis every Saturday. He was still wrestling for his promotion. It's going to be Rock's. It actually fits the profile of the little front facade here. So I'm just making a pile of rocks that are going to be in front of it to make it look better than the shitty pile of rocks that's already there. Something. Yep, absolutely is. People's Champ, the great one. My favorite all-time wrestler. I'm glad that he purchased as much stock as he did. I am glad he is a majority shareholder with the WWE now, and I'm glad that he's on the board of directors for TKO for WWE. I'm glad that it's out of McMahon's hands, hopefully once and for all and for good. And I still won't watch WWE. I watch AEW. WWE kind of lost me as a fan throughout the years with just their weird storylines that had no interest for me, and their lack of payoff over the time and how predictable it became. I could literally, from the amount of years of watching it, I could tune in, watch whatever match was happening on the show. Snowflake, where'd you go? And then call the ending of the match, call the win, call the victor, call the storyline. And it just got to be so predictable for me that I didn't want to watch it anymore. Whereas AEW, it's fresh, it's new, it's bringing in a lot of people that I've only had the chance to see wrestle from Japan. Great storylines, great, just great new breath of fresh air for professional wrestling. A lot of guys that you never thought would go to AEW, like Edge. You never thought they'd go to another company. Chris Jericho, Christian. They're having career renaissances there and wrestling people from Japan. They never thought they'd be able to wrestle. They would never be allowed to wrestle. They're able to work independent dates, for smaller promotions to help people out that they never would have been able to do in WWE. And I think that's a wonderful thing, a remarkable opportunity for them. And it makes me happy to see them have so much joy. And like Sting's coming up on his last match, his retirement match. and getting to witness his final run and actually look good compared to what they did to him in WWE. Oh, Bjorn. I'm sorry you've only ever seen the first episode. And I get it's your opinion, but Warner Brothers Discovery, the numbers and the advertising revenue that company brings in, plus the amount of fans, merchandise, and pay-per-view sales, entirely different than what people think. I've been hearing AEW is going to fold since before the first episode, and they keep getting picked up by their TV companies. They go back and renegotiate better contracts. They are in the black. They're not in the red. They're not in the hole. So I don't think AEW is going anywhere. But you're allowed to have that opinion. It's absolutely yours. But I've been watching wrestling for a very long time, studying the history of wrestling. I've been studying the economics of the business, the politics, the things that take place within these companies, how all that works, and AEW ain't going nowhere. And that's a good thing because it creates competition. Competition creates money. It creates a place for all these guys to wrestle and all these girls to wrestle. There's options. It was either you wrestled for WWE or you maybe worked for TNA, which again, since TNA started, I was hearing how they were going to fold and were never going to last. It's a good thing that these other companies are out there, and it's a good thing that New Japan is also finally getting the recognition for their talent that it deserves. Like WWE started to recognize them with the Hall of Fame, but then as soon as they started working with AEW, like WWE was just like, oh nope, we're not going to recognize these greats that we were trying to put in our Wrestling Hall of Fame because they wanted it to be theirs. That's their prerogative. But I don't think any of these companies are going anywhere. I think if anything, TNA may get purchased by WWE because it's all owned by TKO Broadcasting now, which is fine. I think that might be good for them, might be bad for them, but it would certainly provide an opportunity if they keep people on. The problem with WWE is they tend to fire a lot of people. Yep, they do have a working relationship, but so did AEW and TNA. You know what I mean? It's happenstance that they wind up working for the same company of TKO, Turner not Turner Broadcasting, but TKO, whatever TKO stands for, I can't remember. But it's very fascinating. But I think right now we're in a very, very good time to be a wrestling fan, and a very good time to be a pro wrestler if you are one, because there's so much opportunity. And that's one of the greatest things that Tony Khan ever did was during the pandemic, he employed every single independent wrestler that would take a booking, and he put them on television. He had everybody keep working safely. They had one COVID outbreak in AEW, and that was handled, and people were taken off TV. WWE had countless outbreaks because they weren't taking care. They wanted to have their guys on TV and out there and stuff. And but yeah, Tony Khan put a lot of money in people's pockets to make sure that their rent was paid. People independently in wrestling went out of their way to help take care of each other. I know Cody Rhodes paid for a couple of wrestling gyms' rent when they were in COVID and were running out of money because they couldn't book wrestling shows. They didn't have the major television studios or the safeguards in place, and it was truly a great thing to see as the wrestling community kind of came together and supported each other. I'm sorry, everybody, for boring the shit out of you who's not a wrestling fan. It's something that I'm passionate about. I've been watching wrestling probably as long as I've been watching Star Wars, so it's one of those things. But yeah, I'm liking the way this thing's looking. I don't know that I want to pick it up as I just put these rocks on here, but I'll do some more shaping once these are, permanently fastened. But we're starting to look good. I'm happy with this. And again, all this is scrap, right? This is all garbage. I think the only thing that wasn't trash was the hot glue and the toothpicks, which again, I've had these toothpicks for like 5 or 6 years. Yes, ma'am. Hi, baby. You want to come say hi? Oh. Say hello. Ladies and gentlemen, Snowflake. You're famous. You're famous. The fans, they love you. Oh, she's purring so loud. If I had my microphone on, you'd hear it. Oh, my head. Yes, you're so beautiful. Yeah. No, you can't play with all them foam scraps. I know you want to. I'm going to clean those off the table before you can get up there and get them. Yes. Hacksaw Jim Duggan. He lives up the road. Yeah. You can go. But it is, we are going on 2.5 hours here, guys. We got a lot of glue to dry here. So what I'm going to do, all right, is I'm going to set this lady down, let her go bother the dogs who are scared of her for some reason. I'm going to thank each and every, Timbo, how's it going, my friend? You just got here in time for me to wrap up the show, but I will go over what we did today. We worked with garbage. We worked with absolute trash. And we built this little watchtower playset. I'm going to do a little bit more work on it, but it was a great exercise in using garbage. Launched my Patreon today. The link is scrolling across the screen. It's also in the comments of the chat at the very beginning. I will pin it in the video. There's a few tiers. I went over that. You said you're going to catch up. You can also read them. But no pressure there. It's just another way to support the channel. I am super thrilled with this build. I love doing trash bashing. We're going to be doing some more trash bashing streams. I like kit bashing and trash bashing. Finding products and items that can be recycled and other stuff is awesome. I know a lot of us do it. Here's one that I always keep on hand is the Simply Juice lids, the small ones and the big ones. They've got a unique texture on them. You can fill them with things and have them up against the wall. The small ones and the big ones, pretty cool. You know, you could probably mate them together like that. Make some type of like leg on a walker. All kinds of stuff. But I want to thank every single one of you for tuning in tonight. It's been a great live. Don't forget Friday, World Makers Consortium, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over on Rad Toys channel. It'll also be streaming over here on my channel. Then afterwards, it's going to be a little brief intermission. Then it's going to be over here on my channel. First episode, Cryptids and Crafting. We're going to be talking about cryptids. We're going to be talking about Mothman. That's going to be the topic of the first episode. I'm going to do a big lore dump of the Mothman on you guys. Then we can talk about what you think it is. We're going to work on some customs so we can talk about what I'm working on there too. It's going to be a late night stream. Bring an adult beverage, relax, kick back, smoke them if you got them, and enjoy yourself because we're going to talk about spooky shit, weird shit, and have some fun with that. So that being said, if you guys like the video, please hit the like button. That always helps the channel, puts it in front of more people. Leave a comment. If you watch the entire video through or listen to the entire thing through, what's your favorite item to use recycling? What do you like to recycle into your worlds? Do you like using water bottles, foam, packaging from foam? I know Dom over at Toy Domination, he made an awesome set of walls with some foam inserts. I'm jealous of those things. Those things are badass. So go check those out as well. Like I said, after the video, leave a comment about what your favorite thing is to build with. You can get these shirts over on Teespring. This very sexy, very sexy jackalope shirt. Everybody loves them. You guys be well. Thanks for tuning in. Like and subscribe. Too sweet me, guys.